Hello and welcome to Around the Towns. Once again, I'm your host, Dan Murphy, and this episode I'll be talking to the Dover-Sherburne Boosters about their annual triathlon, as well as the Sherburne Police Chief, the Sherburne Fire Chief, the Sherburne CMD Director, and Sherburne Town Administrator about safety concerns for the upcoming winter season, as well as visiting the Jack Devine annual golf tournament, which supports research for juvenile diabetes. So without further ado, here's my coverage of the Boosters Triathlon. Let's talk somewhat about this triathlon, what's it consist of, and what's going to happen with it.
So the triathlon is known as a sprint level triathlon, which typically has a typical sprint triathlon will have three components, which is a swim, a bike, and then a run. The distances are shorter than some of the longer ones, like the classic Hawaiian Ironman that people may have seen on the television, etc. So sprint level triathlons are really geared towards people that are like all of us, trying to keep ourselves in shape, work out, getting kids involved, etc. And a typical swim distance might be a quarter of a mile swim, which is essentially what ours is, up to perhaps a third of a mile or even up to a half a mile. The bike portion will be anywhere from 10 to 15 plus miles. Ours is about 14.8 miles, and that runs through Sherburne and Dover, the nice streets which are very familiar to many people who bike a lot around here, as some of the typical bike routes that some of the bike clubs use. And then the run is generally in the 5K or shorter, so around 3.1, 3.4 miles. And they're strung together as either one event that a single individual can do and go from one to the other, or they can be done as a relay where one person does one leg of it, another person does another, and then the third person does the last portion. So it is staged in two locations, which is a little unusual for triathlons. As the swim is in Farm Pond and Sherburne, you bike through Sherburne and Dover, and then the run is through some of the streets here in Dover, over in the Donnelly Estates, which is one of the well-known training runs for the cross-country and the track teams. So we did it essentially as a way to sort of incorporate both towns and get people involved in something that was a health-oriented and essentially spirit and camaraderie type of and volunteerism type of oriented event that would bring both of the towns together. We get people from both Sherburne and Dover together to help out, which is something that collectively aids in the whole sports-oriented culture here at the high school.
So you guys volunteers for the triathlon?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Is this your first time doing it?
No, this is my 9th time doing it.
So, what made you guys want to volunteer?
Well,
We just love helping out
It's
in
also-
the community, and it's so much fun.
it's a really
yeah,
fun,
it's a really fun event. Yeah,
event.
it's like a big thing.
and we're all with our friends, and like everyone is so excited, and
Yeah,
it's just awesome.
just really,
You guys compete in sports too?
yeah, we're all in
All our soccer
Dover
team.
Girls Soccer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
DSGS.
Okay. So, what are your responsibilities here?
We're body marking.
We body mark. We give people their numbers on their upper arms, and we set up some cones down at the beach.
Yeah.
And we're gonna later direct runners where
Yeah.
to go.
So, you guys are volunteers here at the event?
Yes, we're from the football team.
This is your first time doing it?
I did it last year, but we didn't do this job.
Okay. And then, what are your responsibilities over here?
All the triathlon people just come over and they have to get their chips that go on their ankles for the race, and we pretty much just organize the numbers and give them their chips.
But, the chips time the racers as they go through the rigorous course, and it tells them their time at the end. So
Yeah.
we'll see how they do.
Will you guys be set up here all day, or?
No, we will not.
Yeah. You guys move?
Yeah.
Like, how much interaction do you have with students for this event and for all booster events, for that matter?
Well, Dan, for this event, we couldn't do it without the students. We couldn't do it without the students primarily because they represent a significant component of our volunteers. The reason why, as Al articulated, we can host this event every year as it's grown in size and scale is that the students from all of the teams that are representative of fall sports are volunteering for different areas of the essentially becoming a 2-day event. Setup and staging on Saturday and actual race day on Sunday. So they come in and volunteer for different aspects: setup, takedown, cleanup, coursework, what have you. But without the students' participation, there's no way we could pull this event off.
How's the setup for the race going so far?
So Dan, this is great. We have a beautiful day here for our 9th annual Dover Sherburne Boosters Triathlon. We have a record number of athletes once again, around 300. All of them are getting ready. It's the kind of the pre-race venue, so everybody's preparing their bike and getting ready for the swim, which is the first leg of the triathlon. So we're really excited. A little chilly out here though. It's about 45 degrees. We've told every athlete we've heated the lake water. I don't know if they're buying it, but that was the plan.
Yeah. So do you know what the weather's supposed to be like today?
I think it's going to be a gorgeous day. From what I've been told, it's going to be spectacular. Probably a high of 70. So I think temps will rise throughout the race.
Yeah. And everything's running smoothly so far.
Knock wood, Dan. So far, so good. We're right on track. Yeah, 8 o'clock start for the first wave, and we'll go from wave 1 through I think wave 7 or wave 8. So the last athletes will kind of come out of the water right around 8:30, maybe 8:45, and then transition to their bikes, bike to the high school, and then the run will start over there.
So how many people participate?
So we typically have about 300 people. Part of that is based on safety, which is our main goal is to maintain a safe race. So we keep the numbers down so that we can control and carefully orchestrate what happens during the swim part in Farm Pond, which of course is where the most risk is. And it really isn't. We've never had an issue, but that's partly because we have gotten a number of lifeguards this year. I think we have 12 lifeguards for the 300 people, and they're scattered throughout the course. We have flotation devices, and we have boats and everything to help keep people feel like they're safe. And then from there it goes on to the bike course, and we have volunteers all around to help people make sure that they stay on course, and then same thing in the run scenario.
Okay. So what made you want to run the race?
I do a couple of these every year. I live in Natick, so it's not far.
Is this your first time doing this?
No, I like I said, do a few every year, so I do this one. I'm going to do one next weekend, and it's just keep busy on the weekends.
What made you want to participate in the race?
Well, I just had knee surgery, and I wanted to make sure I could get back at it. So this is my big goal for the year.
Yeah. Is this your first time participating in this?
I've done this one a few years ago.
Okay. And are you from the local community?
Wellesley.
So what made you guys participate in this race?
Well, this is my first race, so I just wanted to do a sprint, and this is perfect, so I live really close.
So you're from Sherborne, or?
No, I'm from Colombia. But I'm living now. I study at Babson College. So.
And we're part of the Babson Triathlon Club.
So this is your first race of the year, or?
No, this is my fourth race. Yep, fourth and last. It's a good one though. It's always my favorite. It's my second year doing it, and it's without a doubt my favorite race of the year.
So what made you want to do this race?
Just trying to challenge myself a little bit.
This is your first time participating in it?
It is, yeah. First time. Pretty excited. Getting amped up. Once I hit the water, it's on.
You from the community?
I'm from Norfolk.
and what are some of the logistical challenges setting up this course?
So there are some. So we have, because of parking issues at Farm Pond, which is just a relatively small venue, we take over the entire parking lot with our bike racks for people to rack their bikes so that we don't have the ability to have people start and finish the race in the same place. So we have to have two different transition areas whereby we have the so-called swim bike transition area at Farm Pond, and then we have a second transition area here at the high school, which is the bike run transition. And so we have to make sure that we get all the people there to start the race, and then we have to make sure we get all the equipment back here in an organized fashion to finish the race when athletes are done and they want to come to find their equipment. They have to be able to find it. So we basically modeled it after the Pan Mass Challenge that has an extraordinarily militaristic efficiency to their ability to get everything back in one place and organized. And you know, I'm not sure we'll ever get to quite that level of organization, but that's what we ascribe to. And it's worked out okay so far.
So how do you think the course has gone so far today?
So far, it's been in great shape, and we've had a lot of help cleaning it up. You know, we tried a little transition differently with the bike area. We've been talking about, is that working well, or is it working better the way we've had it in years past? But there's always a few tweaks that you like to try to improve upon. But otherwise, it's been good.
So how'd the course go?
Everything's gone wonderfully so far. Smooth, no problems, no glitches, no issues at all, and that's what we like.
So it looked like you were pretty involved with the swim portion of the race, were you?
Yeah, I was. I helped to get the swim off on time and try to keep the waves organized nice and smoothly and get everybody out there on the course and you know, space them out a little bit so we can keep an eye on them so everybody's nice and safe, and it all came off without a hitch. Came out nicely.
So a good year overall?
So far, so good. We're getting some good feedback already, and that's what we like to see. Everybody gives us constructive criticism, and we improve it for the next year. So we'll start with our overall race winners here. Overall male, which includes everybody, including the race. Number 1, Jose Almendoz.
Congratulations. How was the course?
It was excellent. You know, beautiful day. The swim was amazing. You know, even if it was cold, the water was excellent. You know, everything was, you know, well signaled. You know, so it was excellent. It was a very good race.
Okay. And then how often do you run triathlons?
I've been doing it for 30 years. So I run a triathlon at least, you know, once a month. So depending on what races are available, at least once a month.
How many times have you run this race?
This is my second time. I did it 2 years ago. I came in second 2 years ago. I love it. I couldn't do it last year, but this is my second time.
And where are you from?
I'm originally from Venezuela, but I've been in the state for 15 years. I live here in Sudbury.
Number 2, Andrew Fink.
You run triathlons frequently?
4 or 5 times a year. It's my first one doing the Dover one.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
How was the course for you?
It was good. It was a nice day, a little cold in the morning, nice swim. The bike course is pretty fair, a little hilly, a couple rolling hills, but yeah, it's a really nice course, well run. Yeah, it's a nice day.
And number 3, David Fredrickson, age grouper who should be in the lead. Congratulations, guys. Okay, overall female, number 1, Mary Holt Wilson. Number 2, Julie Lewandowski. And number 3, Patricia Brownell. Thank you. Congratulations, ladies.
How was the course for you?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was just a great day for it, perfect weather. It's the 4th or 5th year that I've done this race, so come back every year. It's great. Great. They put on a great race here.
Where are you from?
West Roxbury. But I train around here. This is where I always do my biking and running, so it's always fun to come and race on the roads that I always train on.
You do a lot of triathlons?
I do. I'm actually a triathlon coach at E3 Training Solutions, so it's fun to come out and see some of my athletes. Got a couple of athletes here racing too, so good stuff.
Well, it's good to see you kick all their butts, right?
Hopefully some of them will come from behind and beat me, so.
Yeah, just unofficial winner for now.
Great.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
My thanks to the Dover-Sherburne Boosters and all the volunteers and racers who participated in the event. Now let's move on to some Sherborne town officials talking about safety concerns for the winter season. What are some of these concerns? I don't know which one of you guys wants to start with that.
Snow seems to be one of our biggest ones, and as the other chiefs will concur, our biggest concern is to have people, unless you need to be on the road, is to be off of the road and allow us to do our jobs, whether it be tree removal or snow removal.
Well, both from the police and fire perspective, just as Ed had mentioned, the less people out on the road, the better. That cuts down on our car accidents, especially early in the season, when the first couple of light snows, little rain, changes over to some sleet. We know it's coming when you get into late November, December, and people still make their way out in that type of weather. After a summer of warm weather and nice driving, we're usually ill-prepared early in the season to drive, and that tends to lead to a fair amount of slip and slide accidents, if you will, where somebody stopped for the intersection, the other person on slick pavement just misjudged the distances, and they end up hitting each other. Then, somebody ends up getting hurt. We bring out the ambulance, we bring out a fire truck. It's very important that you pay attention to what the weather forecast is for a day. We all realize it doesn't snow in the middle of the night or sleet in the middle of the night. It also happens at 2 o'clock when you're going to pick up the kids from the school and then heading off to some type of activity in the afternoon. We just ask that you be judicious about your travel plans. That means extending your times, going out a little earlier, and of course watching your speeds.
Usually what we're faced with during a storm in Sherburne is several days of power outages. So we're dependent on well water in the town of Sherburne. So I would just suggest to residents, most residents in Sherburne are aware of this, but I would suggest to those residents that are not aware of this, when there's an impending storm that's calling for heavy snow or some type of hurricane, that we kind of be prepared for that loss of power. You should be filling up your bathtub with water. You should be preparing yourself and your family to kind of stay in the house for a few days. It takes a long time, for whatever reason, in our town to get the power up. And I do want to mention that, because we did not mention this when we were talking about storm preparation at one of our Board of Selectmen's meetings last year, that both the CM&D garage, the fire department, and the police department have water. So if people have empty gallon jugs, they can come down to the station, they can come down to CM&D garage, they can go down to the fire station, and they can fill the water up. That's usually a real true concern for our residents in Sherburne.
And then also, the Dover-Sherburne school system is very important to a lot of residents. What is your interaction with the school system?
We've always maintained a great relationship with the schools. Past superintendent, the current superintendent, Stephen Bliss, very supportive. They'll call in the morning when there's some type of major storm, and they'll truly take advice from the fire chief, the police chief, and the CM&D director. And the bottom line is, we don't want any parents or buses going on the roads if they don't need to be on the roads. We don't want to have anybody get into an accident and get hurt. So we've always maintained a great relationship. We work very well together, and there's never been any kind of animosity or argument. It's just very, very smooth operation.
And then, so how much interaction do you have with the neighboring towns and their sort of policies?
Not much. With Natick, we do, they'll loop into our town to turn around, and we've got a couple roads in that we loop into them, and also in Framingham, so we work very well together.
sort of what are some of the processes of eliminating some of this snow and debris?
Sherborne is 100% septic and wells. And given that fact, we are a low salt community. And one of the biggest complaints we get is I'm driving in from either Holliston or from Natick, and then Sherborne's road seems to have snow. We do use a significantly reduced amount of salt on our roadways for that purpose. We start out every storm with a round of sand, salt, and then we get into our main snow operations. During heavy events, our main objective is to keep the roads open. So a lot of times we'll just be making a few passes down the center of the roadway, and then after the snow lightens up or after the storm, we'll go through and do a widening operation. Another one of the complaints that we get is it stopped snowing, why are you still out plowing? And again, that reason being is during the storm we keep everything open in the centers, and then after the storm we widen out all our intersections, try to get everything curb to curb.
And then do you prioritize, I assume you prioritize?
We prioritize all of the arterial routes for when you get into a 1, 2, 3 inch an hour storm. We will safety first. If our crews are having visibility problems, we will yank them off the road. We'll try to keep the main line trucks out as long as we can. But there are times that we've had to pull all of our crews and just let it snow.
So what are some of your challenges with the storm season approaching?
My challenge is, they're the public safety people. They're delivering the services directly to the residents. I hear the complaints if something goes wrong, and luckily I don't really hear that many complaints. We're always trying to look at what we do, trying to make improvements, talk to each other, stay communicated so we all know what each other's doing. Make sure the town office is open. If anybody needs anything there, that they're calling. If they just don't know who to call, they can call us. And then I'm keeping the elected officials informed, which would be the Board of Selectmen, who oversee all the public safety services, really. So it's just trying to maintain communications in a storm and stay out of the way of them actually doing their jobs.
And if I can say this for David, David's fairly new to the town as our town administrator, and he's got a wealth of knowledge from other communities, which is very helpful to us. And this is the first time I can honestly say, as the chief of police in the town of Sherborne, that I felt comfortable, and I feel comfortable calling David and knowing that David's going to get things done for me, for Tim, and for Ed. And that's critical, that we're able to communicate as well as we do and get things done together for the community's needs.
Thanks. And I would like to point out that we are in constant communication, and with PDAs and smartphones, we're texting each other. It can be day, night, middle of the night, weekends. It's around the clock, and we respond to each other usually within minutes. And that's how good the communication is, which is credible to this community.
And as it was mentioned earlier, in a larger situation, we're going to have an emergency operations center. That's the EOC we've been mentioning. So we're literally going to have people shoulder to shoulder in a room with televisions, with computers, with phones, and it probably at any one time or numerous times in any one day, the 4 of us or 3 of us and our representatives are going to be face to face. So that communication is so vital to getting things done in a timely fashion.
Okay. Are there some sort of budgetary concerns with the removal?
In Sherborne, we almost always go over budget. I think 2 years ago was the only year I think we came under budget, and given the amount of snowfall that we received. And the snow budget is something that is expected to go over each year, and it is one of the only line items that you are allowed to go over.
So how much staff do you guys usually have available at various locations?
Well, for the police department, during a weather emergency, I order pretty much all the personnel into work, and they typically work as long as it takes to get things up and running. We work closely with the fire department and the CMD personnel. We typically set up a unified command where we would have either a fire officer or a police officer handle a lot of the radio communications and direct personnel to those locations where they're needed for service.
Can you talk about what kinds of things happen over the long term when a storm is going 3 or 4 days, or even if it's a natural disaster like a hurricane or something, how that affects the crews, what you have to do to juggle people, make sure that they're not getting too tired and they're still able to respond? And
Well, we'll rotate the guys at the station. Some of them will take a nap for 4 or 5 hours. I actually have a pull-out couch in my office, so I bunker down for however long it takes. We make sure the guys get enough rest so they're able to provide the best service we can to our community. And since I've been chief over the last 4 years, I can honestly say that we've had at least 5 major storms where we've had full staff for 3, sometimes 4 days. And that becomes, trying on the personnel, and it becomes really trying on our resources.
yeah, same for ambulance, that
Well, it's the
rotates
same
the crews.
thing. We rotate our crews through. We have dedicated people for different shifts, 24/7, 365 anyways. But we also make sure we have additional people either in the firehouse with appropriate apparatus that maybe four-wheel drive for during the winter, so it can get through the heavy snow. We also position people throughout the town. Some people live in the south end of the town, southwest part of town. Often we say, stay home, but you'll be the representative for the fire department in that area of town. They have a radio, they have first aid equipment, they have a four-wheel drive vehicle. They can get there a lot quicker than it's going to take for us to go from the firehouse. And they'll be able to get there first, give a report, start providing first aid, or whatever the emergency may be. Maybe just trees and wires down. Again, they get us that type of information back to the Unified Command at the EOC, and then we're able to disseminate that to Verizon or AT&T or whoever needs to know it.
So CM&D does the same thing, rotating a crew?
It's especially difficult for us, especially during snowstorms. So what we typically, each snowstorm is unique, and what we try to do is we will get a round of plowing, sanding, and salting out before rush hour. Then we'll pull our crews off during rush hour, let rush hour go through traffic, gives our crews a break. As far as sleep, we'll try to rotate a crew the best we can overnight hours where nobody's out on the road. We can let the snow accumulate on the sides roads, keep the main drags open, arterial routes. But it's long, monotonous hours.
You also you supplement with some private contractors?
We
in
have,
certain
yeah,
areas.
our full staff will be in, and along with approximately 12, 13 contractors.
Okay, and then, and in addition to personnel at your own stations and buildings, what are some of the other equipment that you have available there, in addition to obviously providing water to people? Do you have like full generators and things like that to keep you operating?
Yeah, we have a full generator at the police station, and we have lost power, and the generator kicks right on. And you just brought up a good point too, that now that we're in the PDA age, people using iPhones and using cell phones and whatnot, residents should feel free to come into the station if they need to charge up their phones. They can come into our training room and plug into the wall and get their phones charged up.
The other thing too is we're talking today about Dover-Sherborne area, but we're also have abilities to get equipment through mutual aid agreements, both with the state and with local communities around us. Framingham keeps a sizable cache of generators, signs, all types of cots, equipment, so that if we were severely impacted by a storm, but maybe not so much regionally, and we needed equipment, we can get that in a very short manner of time, almost literally by 1 or 2 phone calls, and we can have that stuff on the road to where we need it. So it, if it becomes something bigger, we do have friends within the local region and the state to get the necessary equipment here quickly, and manpower too, if we need it.
And frankly, last year during the blizzard, one of my officers, Sergeant Luke Tedstone, actually brought in his own snowmobile, and he actually patrolled the town on the snowmobile. That's how horrible the roads got at one point. So
no fault.
Yeah, all the technology advancements, has it made things much easier?
It has, but again, there's that human element that we have to know what's going on. We have to be in touch with, like I mentioned, the state, federal government, the weather service, whatever, whoever's out there, and then we have to take that information and disseminate it amongst ourselves so that we're getting it back to the people on the street in a timely manner. It's fine that it comes back to us, but then we have to send it back to our people out there so that they actually know what's going or what's coming.
If I can also add, one thing we're constantly trying to improve on is our emergency operations. So when we do set up a command center and the level of command and how the work is being handed out, how it's being tracked, we do have post-storm meetings where we can sit back and criticize each other and make changes to that operation so that the next event we are going to be that much better.
It's also really important that before any storm, whether we're talking winter storm as we are today or summertime, the tropical storm comes up or whatever, that all families, not just necessarily our seniors that in the community, let somebody else know, maybe from out of town, family member, sons or daughters, brothers, good friends from work. Yes, I am staying at our home in Sherburne. Or no, we're going to leave and go meet up with other relatives or friends. So that if you are laid up for a number of days, there's somebody else that knows your whereabouts and you can be in communication with. We all have cell phones today. We can all text each other, send messages. If the power goes out, we have that luxury for as long as we keep it charged. And most of us have car chargers, so we can often keep it charged for 24 hours at a time. It's very important that you have somebody, because again, as the chief mentions, it may take us a little time to get through the town. But if you've already made those notifications to friends and family, it's a lot easier.
So then, do you anticipate sort of more problems early in the season, or because you had said that people sort of are used to the summer conditions that are more lenient, and then?
Well, generally, from a driving perspective, we do. And that, again, it's just that learning curve, bridging over from...
Reacclimating yourself.
Exactly, back to New England winters again, and, getting back into your vehicle and understanding how that vehicle's not going to handle the same as it does in July when you're on the Cape. Like I mentioned before, the distances, what the roads are like, and of course, as Ed mentions, the road conditions. And it's not even in Sherburne, it's anywhere you're out and about. They can change dramatically based on the weather, based on the maintenance that's being done. There's obviously some responsibility on the part of the people in the community to just take it easy, take a step back.
Do you have any advice for preparation of vehicles or in-home preparation for that kind of stuff?
I actually drew up a little list for home emergency preparedness. And, the basics, first aid materials, prescription medications, over-the-counter painkillers, rubbing alcohol, bandages, flashlights and extra batteries in the event the power goes out, snow shovels, salt and sand to help prevent falls when moving about outside, dry wood stored in a dry place, enough gasoline or diesel fuel to operate a generator or portable heating device, blankets and extra clothing to avoid frostbite and hypothermia, enough dried goods, energy bars, and canned goods that do not need heating for each person to eat for 3 days. Battery or crank-operated radio to listen to weather updates and notifications. Enough water to last every member of your family at least 3 days. They suggest 1 gallon per person per day. Because we are well dependent, I mentioned this earlier, make certain that you keep your tub filled with water. Keep empty gallon water containers on hand in the event of long-term power loss. And again, I want to reiterate that you can come down to the CM&D garage, the police department, or the fire department to get water. And because we are in the help business, you can call the business line, and if you can't get down the station, we can send our personnel out to help you. I did want to add that through a coordinated effort between our Council on Aging and our Disabilities Advisory Committee, we actually identified some at-risk residents in town. And what I mean by at-risk residents are people that might be oxygen dependent. And we have those lists in our dispatch area. So if the power were to go out and there was a person that was oxygen dependent, that would be a priority for us to make certain that we get them, immediate assistance, and I'm sure you understand why. So we have a lot of data, a lot of information that helps us do our job to the best of our abilities.
So I just want people to know and have some assurance that, you know, even though they make a call and they're waiting for somebody to show up in a storm situation, they're not forgotten. There are people working 24 hours a day, even in the small town like Sherburne. And there are other towns in the state that turn the lights off in the police department at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And that doesn't happen here. There's somebody here 24 hours a day, and these guys will respond. And the police and CM&D have to triage their problems the same way a medical problem would get triaged. They have to hit the priorities first and then work their way down. So.
And the residents should know, too, that there are a tremendous amount of resources online. I mean, if you go on NSTAR's website, there's a great wealth of information on what to do if the power goes out, what not to do, stay away from power lines, and they actually, right on their website, they have their 800 number that they encourage residents to use when their power goes out. Unfortunately, in the past, I think residents thought by calling the police station that the police station was contacting NSTAR to deal with their personal issue, when in fact our responsibility is to report kind of general locations of where power outages are. So I would encourage residents to use the 800 number that's on the website when the power goes out, because historically the power goes out in Sherburne every time we have a storm, and I'm sure it's going to happen this year as well.
And just to add to that, the state has a website up, ready.gov. It has all of any type of preparedness you could think of, even beyond storm preparedness. It has the 1-800 numbers for NSTAR. It has it for Verizon. It strongly encourages you to use those numbers. Has preparedness packages for all types of families, so you can go on it. It's when the weather's nice, like it is right now in the fall, and slowly print off a list and slowly buy the materials or get the materials together in a nice Tupperware bin that you can get at the home center, and put together your kit, as the chief mentioned, and as you'll see. And then you'll have it when you need it. It won't be the day before the storm hits and you're going to Roach Brothers, as well as everybody else, to try to go buy bread, milk, and eggs and water. You'll be the one that's prepared ahead of that.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of kind of. I'm wondering if you've already answered this, but are there other good resources for additional information?
Well, the bottom line is we're in the help business. So if you're not getting the number or the information you need, you can always call the police department or the fire department, and we'll direct you as best we can. That's why we're there.
Great. I don't know if there's anything else that you guys feel necessary to add.
No. Thank you for having us in today, and we look forward to coming in again.
Yeah.
And we'd like the public to know that we are here, even though they may not see us out on the street shoveling snow. We're trying to get things taken care of as quickly as possible.
And next time we'll have to invite Diane Moore as the assistant town administrator to come on and do a good 5 or 10 minute presentation.
I believe she has some valuable input.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what the town website.
It's sherbornema.org, and we can access that from home 24 hours a day as well. So any message that we want up, whether it's a farm pond closing or whatever, we put the message up there right on the first screen. And then any other additional information that any of the departments wanted to post, of course, is there by a link. So.
My thanks to Mr. Williams, Mr. Wagner, Chief Morrissey, and Chief Thompson. And now here is my coverage of the Jack Devine Memorial Golf Tournament, which supports research for juvenile diabetes.
Hi, I'm Julie Devine Theodore from the Jack Devine Foundation. Welcome. Friday, September 27th, 16th annual golf tournament this year. It's not raining. Pretty beautiful day. We're really excited. We have over 100 golfers here. Again, our 16th annual tournament. We come together to benefit the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. We have given over $200,000 to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation in our 15 years. And it's awesome cause. It was near and dear to my dad, Jack Devine, as well as my son, Corey Theodore. He was diagnosed with diabetes in 1996 at the age of 3.5. He's now came from our first annual tournament of coming and scooting around the carts and helping out with little tickets and stuff like that, to now being 21 years old and playing in the tournament himself. Hopes to get his name on the trophy, but you know, we're very happy to be here, and he's so proud of the people that are coming and helping and supporting.
Well, we started this in memory of my grandfather, and he was a big part of my life for the beginning of it anyway. And we needed a cause, and he was really, he had adult onset diabetes. I was right before he passed away. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So the family decided to pitch together, throw a fundraiser in a golf tournament for a chance for all of his friends and all of our family to come and get together and support a good cause and do it for a good reason and have some fun while we're doing it. And it's a beautiful day out, and some years are great, some years we have a monsoon, but we're always here and we're always having fun no matter what.
So you're golfing this year, right?
Yeah, this is my third year golfing. I get a little bit better every year, but we're still pretty terrible. But we're working on it. We're having fun, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, great. And then, so how are you doing with diabetes and everything?
It's been a long journey. I've had it for I turned 21 in June. I've had it for about 17 years now, so 18 years in February. It's a struggle. It's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience, and it's a full-time job. But you know, with the advancement that we have, I have it so much easier than I did when I was little, and what my parents had to struggle with taking care of me when I was little, I don't really have to struggle as much. So we're coming a long way, and it's because of events like this, and it's because of people like this that are coming together that we're able to make those advances.
So hi, my name is Tara Devine, and we are here at the 16th annual Jack Devine Foundation Golf Tournament. We are so excited this year because we've got over 35 donated raffle items and silent auction items. We're very, very lucky to have a lot of community support, and we can't thank so many people. It's just awesome. The whole way that our community comes together and helps us is really heartwarming. It's really more than just our little golf tournament. It's every single person here that comes together and greets each other every single year. They look at me and they say, like, hi, I haven't seen you since last year. But people bring things, the community gives things, everyone leaves here a winner, and we just want to thank everybody for all of their efforts, and we are really fortunate. Thanks very much.
Hello, I am Eileen Devine, the mother, so-called, of the Devine family, and we always get together to work for the Jack Devine Foundation, which benefits Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. And to think of how improved my grandson Corey is from the time he was 3.5 years old to being a senior today in college. Healthy, vibrant, happy, and he will speak later at the dinner tonight about his wonderful progress, thanking supporters, and I join him in that 1,000-fold. I also wanted to thank the donors of the auction and the people who come forth for the raffle, for the community effort, the golfers, volunteers. We have one volunteer that unfortunately Ellie Hurd from Dover could not be with us today because she is on vacation. For the first time in our 16 years, Ellie Hurd will not be here. So we pay tribute to Ellie and to say thank you from the bottom of our heart. And also to Corey, who spoke at the opening ceremony today before the golfers went forth, to Renee Rancourt, who sang the national anthem, and to Dover's own Al Colello, who sang Danny Boy, a tribute to Jack's favorite tune. So, we thank everybody who was involved from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
Jack Devine was one of my close friends, and one of his favorite songs is Danny Boy. And every time I sing it, I think of Jack. Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the flowers are dying. 'Tis you, must go and I must buy. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. For I'll be there in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, my Danny boy, I love you so. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? October 3rd, one more time. Go Cat and Bruins. This is Renee Eginla signing off. Thank you.
annual Jack Devine Foundation tournament. Not too many things last 16 years. And it's kind of incredible when you think about the history of how far we've come. I think my son Corey and my daughter Megan, they were wee little ones riding with my husband on the golf club when we started this. And as you know, we started it, the Jack Devine Foundation, in memory of my dad. And my dad and my son had a very great bond, very special bond. He was diagnosed with diabetes when he was 3.5 years old, 1996. My dad passed away in 1997, so for a year they took their blood sugars together because they both were affected with diabetes, my dad having type 2 later on in life. And so they would have their little bonding as a grandson and a grandfather, taking their blood sugar and comparing their numbers. And it's a special bond, but it's not really one that I would recommend because it really affects your health, and that's why we're here today, to try to help the millions of people that are affected with juvenile diabetes. But 16 years, incredible. It's really incredible. And we wouldn't be able to do it without such a great team. I want to thank all our members of the board, Jack Devine Foundation, really, really incredible team that are out there giving their time, energy, and effort, and making all of this. And it's really a great job, a wonderful turnout, and I'm really thankful for the team that we have. I wanted to thank our great volunteers that are out there on the course, as well as behind the scenes back here. Out on the course, we have Al and Mary Colello. Oh my God, what a great job Al Colello did singing for the... And that's the bottom line, the heart and soul of, the friendship, the kinship, and the wonder that we have in this day, and we really appreciate it. Al and Mary Colello, Jay McHugh, Scott Pyle, Maureen Sherman, Jeannie Devine, Megan Theodore, Kathy Devine. A special shout out to Ellie Hurd, who has been here in the past. She missed this year, but was able to show her support by giving some donation and stuff, and we miss her, but felt her spirit and her support. In here we had Carol McPhee and Barbara Ryder, as well as Kathy Libin and Jennifer Libin. Huge support, huge help, and we really couldn't do it with all the volunteers, so thank you so much. I also want to give a shout out to our hole sponsors, our holes and our tees, as well as our carts. The lunch, the awesome buffet lunch that was sponsored by Needham Bank, awesome job. Our, on the course, we have Owen Motors, Tommy McGill again, and New England Hold'em 1 were helpful with putting the car. I can't wait till somebody drives that thing away. Maybe number 17, I don't know, but to have the car driven away would be great. Anyway, and the bottom line is, want to thank you guys for coming out, having a great time. Enjoy your lunch. If you need any more raffle tickets, just wave your hands and somebody will be ready to help. The Jack Devine Foundation supports the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation, as you know. Corey's going to say a few words about it. He talked to us a little bit about it this morning, but just a reminder about where your money is going and how important it is to the millions of people that are affected by juvenile diabetes.
How's it going, everybody? I just want a moment of your time to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. As my mother said, I shared a really special bond with my grandfather in that we both suffered from this disease called diabetes. I was really young when he passed away, so I don't really remember all that much about him, but what I do remember is a couple things. First and foremost, he loved his family and friends. He loved them more than anybody. He always put them above himself, and he was always there to lend a helping hand. And that's why I think this event is so special, because it brings together all the people who knew him, all the people who continue to support the family and continue to support me in juvenile diabetes. He also was really, really supportive of helping others. And that's exactly what this event is about. And the fact that we can combine the two of them to bring all of you guys here together today and to support a cause as great as this is something that really deserves a round of applause. I want to remind you that everything today, all the money that we raised today is going directly to Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. All the people that put effort into this, they don't see a cent of it. All of that is done for charity. It's going to an excellent organization that supports the research for diabetes, because as of right now, we still don't have a cure. It's been forever. We don't have a cure. We can treat it, but we still have to suffer with it. I will have it, it's looking like, for the rest of my life, right? And I'm just one person. Okay? My grandfather had it to the end of his days, and I want to make sure that I don't have it till the end of mine. And it's because of people like you and organizations like this that we can do that. This organization, over 16 years, has raised over $150,000 that goes directly to JDRF. That is a huge amount of money, and we continue to set the mark every single year. You guys are great. I thank you very, very much, and I'll take this opportunity to remind you that the silent auction is closing soon. All that money goes to JDRF, as well as in a few minutes we're going to start doing the raffle prizes. So whatever money's left in your pockets, please spend it. Eat up, and thank you guys for coming out today.
My thanks to everyone at the Jack Devine Memorial Golf Tournament, especially the Jack Devine Foundation and all of the golfers and volunteers. Now I'd like to close this episode with footage from the annual Dover Days Festival that takes place in Dover Town Center. Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, you got it.